Good morning. It's day 69 and I just am happy in my soul this morning. As I've done these videos, it's gotten harder and harder to come up with some sort of content. You can see that on some days, especially if I wait until the end of the day to do it when I am completely spent and I just have nothing left to give. So I've committed to myself and to anybody that's going to watch these that I'm going to do them in the mornings when I'm fresh. But this morning I was just having a conversation with the Lord and I said, God, I need an idea for today. I just don't have anything. Okay. So I'm in the process, I started on Wednesday, of rereading a book that I was originally assigned in business school 2.5 years ago. And I've just contracted with the company I'm going to be working with, and they have a list of required reading, and this book is on that list. So I started on Wednesday rereading the book, and literally one page turn into the book this morning, there's a word that's just sort of highlighted to me that I'm thinking, I don't remember noticing that the first time. And is that actually the right word? Or has the author misused the word? And it was the word elusive, I-L-L-U-S-I-V-E. Well, I'm thinking he means elusive, E-L-U-S-I-V-E. So I pick up my phone and I immediately look up elusive versus elusive and learn that there is a third word that comes from the same Latin root that's elusive, A-L-L-U-S-I-V-E. So, of course, I had to dig down to find out, okay, what's the difference? And elusive puts you in the mind of the word illusion, and that's exactly what it is. It is something that doesn't seem real or possible. And then, of course, elusive is something that's hard to catch, it's hard to grasp. Elusive means that it's making a reference or a hint at something else. And I realized I've actually used a form of that word in the past without realizing that this form existed, and that was that somebody alluded to, meaning they implied something else, but they didn't mention it specifically. And as I was going through that process, I was thinking about the fact that I didn't notice it the last time I went through this book, because I tend to remember things when I notice it, like it stood out this morning. But I was also reminded of a funny story from my work history, an office that I worked in many years ago that was pre-internet. So unfortunately for the younger folks, they're not going to understand this at all. But I worked in an office with several other people, and in the department I was in, I became the walking dictionary. When they didn't want to look something up, whether it was a secretary that was taking dictation, or it was a project manager that wanted to use a word but wasn't sure how to spell it, it was Gloria. How do you spell whatever the word was? Well, a lot of times I knew the spelling, but there were also a lot of times that I didn't. Well, I kept a dictionary on my desk, and I would pick up the dictionary and find the word. And when I looked it up, I always made a point of reading the definition. And sometimes I would learn something because I'd realize the word didn't mean what I thought it meant. Or there was some little nuance to it, kind of like these three words. And after a time, it was probably several months, I realized I wasn't really doing these people any favors by providing the information every time they asked for it. And so I got to where I would say, you know what? Great question. There's a dictionary right there on my desk. And of course I got the, well, how am I supposed to look it up if I don't know how to spell it? So there was a lesson there. But this kind of goes back to the same idea I talked about yesterday about I wonder. My question today is, are you reading things, going through tasks, going through processes, projects, interacting in relationships, without ever looking for that little nuance, that little thing that you have to go, okay, is that the right thing to be doing? Or is that the right word? And then seeking out an answer if something goes, I'm not real sure. Seeking out some help, whether it's looking something up on the internet or it's seeking some advice or counsel from somebody who's been through what you're dealing with. So I would suggest, if you're going to look stuff up on the internet, make sure you verify your sources. I had to tease somebody this past weekend when they pointed out something they found on the internet that, oh yeah, just because it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, we know better. So just keep that sense of wonder. You'll be able to cultivate such joy from just looking for the things that make you go, is that right? Doesn't have to be wrong, but is there something I'm missing here? You might learn a new word or two today. So it is day 69. I'm signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow.